Peace. Coming in righteous name of Lord Supreme. Want to go with you and go through today's supreme mathematics, right? Now, I want to make reference to this in regards to knowledge itself, because I see that a lot of individuals that come into this, so they might have this mentality where they think that this is some magical thing, which is not. So I'm just going to break this down for you today, right? So when it comes down to knowledge of self, so I'm going to give you two words that you will understand in time. Maybe not right now. However, in time. It's called Renaissance and Reconstruction, right? So follow me. Renaissance is a stage of rebirth. Renaissance is a stage of reconstruction, because now, or transformation. So what I mean by that is this: you could transform a young woman into a mother by impregnating her, right? You take it from knowledge to born, because you guys had this understanding with each other that, hey, you guys are with each other, you love each other, you want to be a family. So now you turn the woman that you're dating into a mother if she hasn't already been one. So now, the same thing with the thought. When it comes down to being born means to bring forth into existence mentally, then it gives birth physically. So we usually say born to give birth, all right? Because born is a mental state. You feel what I'm saying? It's to produce the idea and bring it into fruition or into full terms, all right? So let me give you, like it takes 9 months for a baby to be born, right? It has to go from knowledge to born. You feel me? So when you're dealing with the idea of being born, you're dealing with the idea of coming into the knowledge of yourself. You're dealing with you got to deal with the reconstruction of your mindset. You got to deal with a new stage of life, a new stage of rebirth. Because even in the Bible, when you look at it, right, Jesus was talking about being born twice, right? The man didn't understand it when he was asking. He was like, does a man have to go into his mother's womb twice? He said, no. The man has to be born twice. So when you come into the knowledge of yourself, you feel what I'm saying? You coming into a reconstruction period. Because you have to change your whole thought process. You have to change your whole way of living. You have to reconstruct it, right? That's also mental first. You feel what I'm saying? When you're in the Renaissance period, you are now changing how you see life. You're at a rebirth. You're at a rebirth, meaning that you was born twice. See, you might have looked at it one way in life and was like, that's how it is. But then when you got into the knowledge of yourself and identifying and seeing your relation to the universe and the universe relation to you, and how your consciousness can expand further and not to be closed-minded, you change the idea of who you are as an individual. You no longer look at life one-sided. You no longer look at life in a way where everybody else is looking at it and I'm just following a trend. No, you're in a different mind state. You're in a different atmosphere now. You change the currents. You change how you really view life on a grand scheme as well as a small scheme, on a micro as well as a macro scale. So being born means to be complete within yourself mentally as well as physically. Now, that's why we say born to give birth. Because once the idea comes into fruition, either it's going to be born dead, meaning that the idea that comes to full terms, or it can be born alive, meaning that you brought it all the way through and took it from knowledge to born and completed it and went back from born back to knowledge. You feel me? So that's the same thing with knowledge itself. This is not no magical snap your fingers, click your heels 3 times and everything is gone. No, this is real. Because we're not dealing with fake, phony, and fraudulent things. Meaning the lies that people told us about who we are. Somebody probably told you that you're going to be just like your mother. You're going to be just like your father. But if you reconstruct your mind and go through a renaissance period in your life, you won't think that about yourself. You might think different. You might say, hey, you know, I may have the characteristics and traits of my mom, but I'm not my mom. I'm my own self. I'm my own person. Not saying that you can't be just like your mom, but you're not your mom. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So basically what I'm saying is this. You coming from the old you into the new you. That's how you become born alive. That means that, okay, I'll give you a great example of born, coming into existence and being complete with itself. You see how when tarantulas shed their skin? You know, check this out. Here's a fun fact. A lot of people don't realize this, but however, tarantulas, if they was to lose a limb and they were to shed the old skin, they can regenerate that limb. You see how that is? They gave a rebirth. They reconstructed. They changed. Now imagine if that same tarantula didn't want to come out of his old skin and wanted to stay where he was at. You know he could possibly die because he's suffocating himself from changing and evolving. That's what knowledge itself is, helping you change and evolve the way you think, meaning reconstructed and give yourself a new perspective and a rebirth on how you look at things. You feel me? So like I said, knowledge itself is dealing with today's math of being born. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people that got this. There's some people play around with it. Some people think that this is just some fun and game type thing, but it's not. Especially when it comes to your life. So like I said, you know, take the time to think about that. Understand what I said. And if not, you got any questions or concerns, feel free to ask. Once again, this is today's Supreme Mathematics, which is born. Lord Supreme, signing off. Peace. To Lost 5%.